Hi everyone, welcome to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for the 3 o'clock show. We're going to talk Providence Restaurant Week, and I'd like to welcome my first guest, Kyle Poland. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. From Circe, just a few blocks over here to talk about what Providence Restaurant Week means. Before we start talking restaurant, I want to make sure folks do know the big story on GoLocal right now. Broken by GoLocal, the SEC has named Governor Raimondo in a pay-to-play scheme back from when she was General Treasurer. This was with Ogletree. You can read all about it after live. But let's talk about Providence Restaurant Week. You guys have been jamming at lunchtime, dinner time. How big is Restaurant Week for your business?
Restaurant Week is very important for our business. It's important for our employees. It gives us the opportunity, number one, from a business standpoint, to kind of showcase some of our more special items, our dinner items, our appetizer items. It also gives guests the opportunity, a reason to come in where they normally wouldn't. You know, when you look at some of the pricing, for example, our braised short rib is $34 on our regular menu. But if you come in for dinner for Providence Restaurant Week, you get the entire 3-course menu for $35.99, and on top of it, you have your first course and your dessert course. Whereas normally, if you came in outside of Restaurant Week, you wouldn't be able to benefit from that. So, I mean, if we can't get you out of the house to come into Circe for Providence Restaurant Week, then I don't know how to do it.
So talk with us a little bit about the menus, what you're offering for lunch and what you're offering for dinner.
Yep. So, just like I previously said, it's a 3-course menu. If you come in for lunch and dinner, you benefit from the same. You have an appetizer, you have entrees, as well as dessert. Some of our more popular items, like I already mentioned, the braised short rib is on there, but we also have stuff that's a little bit more approachable, a little more traditional. If you don't want to go too far off the beaten path, we have our meatloaf, which is one of our most popular items. It's a great meal, and I always tell everybody you always will take some home with you when you leave. So the
meatloaf, is that one of your faves? Is that your personal dish?
It is one of my personal favorites. It's not my personal favorite. It's not the favorite, but it is one of my favorites. I would say for an appetizer, probably my favorite is the lobster risotto with avocado ice cream. I tell people all the time, it's the only time you get to have ice cream before dinner. So it's a great appetizer. And then for the entrees, it's a toss-up between the wild boar ragu. When I do have pasta, I go for that thick pappardelle pasta, hand cut. It's delicious. And then outside of that, I would say the braised short rib is another favorite of mine as well.
So talk with us. Circe has been around for a while now, still consistently popular. How much do you mix up the menu? Restaurant Week aside, how often do you revisit it, look at it, keep the favorites, but tweak it with new things?
Well, you always want to change seasonally. I mean, that's just kind of the trend in restaurants across the country, but as well as in Rhode Island. One thing you have to do is you have to pay attention to those seasonal items, so we're always doing that. But you can't change too much because you do have favorites. We literally have guests that'll come in, and they come in for one specific item. So we try to figure out what those items are, and then we keep those. And then, other stuff too, maybe we keep the similar protein. You'll change your chicken dish, and the composition may change with whatever seasonal accompaniments may be. I think the other part too is just knowing your customers, knowing your customer base. So if you know what they like, then you also know what they don't like. So you can make those necessary changes.
And let's talk about what you know and know very well is the bar.
Okay, all right, a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So talk with us about what's the old standbys, and then what are the new drinks? What are people drinking these days?
Well, kind of like we had touched upon a little earlier, we were speaking before this, and one thing I said that, the Cosmopolitan is was probably one of the greatest drinks to ever be created, but people don't like to order it anymore because maybe it's a little cliche. But if you look at the composition of the cocktail, it's an amazing cocktail. It can be crisp, fresh, it's sweet, and it's sour. So if you look at that and you say, well, what kind of variations can I make? What can I do to kind of make it a little bit more current? So we have a cocktail that most people don't like to order because of the name, but everybody seems to order it anyways. It's called the Panty Snatcher. So it's a vodka-based drink. It's made with elderflower liqueur, which people love. That kind of hit, the market 3 or 4 years ago and really, really became popular. But we use fresh lemon juice and just a little bit of rose water to kind of give it that floral effect. And one thing you're doing in the summertime, if you're using fresh juices, fresh citrus, you'll always make a decent cocktail. On the flip side of it, probably the hottest spirit I would say in this part of Providence for sure is tequila. Last year, we saw brown spirits kind of really hit it big, but this year tequila is on fire. People are not only drinking silver tequila, they're drinking reposados and yejos, and they're not just looking for a composed cocktail. They'll drink it on the rocks, they'll drink it neat, or just a splash of little juice, and that's just kind of what's big right now.
What are you seeing on the wine front? Is it another big rosé season?
Rosé is kind of always a staple. I think that what you start to see now with wine is obviously the white wines start to trend a little bit more because people associate it with summertime. But I think if you look at Oregon Pinot Noirs, which are generally a little bit lighter, not so heavy, not so super dry for the summertime, that's a big varietal, but specifically the Oregon Pinot Noirs, as well as some of the French wines too.
Now, do you often, if you're behind the bar, do you get people who really are just like, surprise me?
Oh yeah, all the time.
So you say like sweet, like do you have to like guide them to what they want?
It can be difficult because somebody could say surprise me, and a big spirit now is mezcal, but mezcal is not a very approachable spirit. It can be very smoky, and it's a love it or hate it type of spirit. So one thing I always ask is I'll say, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? And if I don't say that, I say, what's your favorite fruit? And then that'll give you a flavor profile. You can figure out if they want something juicy, if they want something crisp, if they want something citrusy, and you can go from there. So at least you have the flavor right. So you always look for just a little bit of guidance, but if you ask too many questions, then the guest is probably going to say, well, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, and I should have just ordered what I normally drink. So you've got to be careful.
But they want to get you down. You want to get them down the right road for what it is that they're looking to get.
Exactly, yep.
So you guys are hopping both lunch and dinner. Do you recommend reservations?
Absolutely, 100%. Lunch, you can walk in, come in on a walk-in basis. That's no issue. If you have a party of 5 or more, generally we recommend a reservation. For dinner, absolutely 100% a reservation. Fortunately, we just happen to be busy for restaurant week, so I want to make sure we get you in and I don't have to turn you away. So let's make those reservations.
And so people talk about summertime in Providence. We're here. It's July 11th. It's hopping. Like it's not.
Yeah, well, Providence is different. I think Providence is starting to evolve, and I think that we're seeing a lot more people residential living downtown. So there's just a lot more built-in business, which is nice. It makes it a little bit easier for most restaurants downtown. But I really do think that Providence Restaurant Week is a huge hit every year, and I think if you approach it well, you embrace Providence Restaurant Week, and you put out a great product, you will be one of the super busy restaurants downtown.
Do you find people after Providence Restaurant Week, they come back next month, the month after, and said,
absolutely,
we came for Restaurant Week, and now we're back. Now we love you guys.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. And I was thinking about the other day, a lot of people say, we'll get people come off Restaurant Week, it's the only time we'll see them. But that's not the case. If you think about it a little bit more like, well, these people regularly dine out at Gracie's, and that's their go-to spot for the week, or other good restaurants in the area. And they don't really have a reason to step out and say, well, let me try Cersei. So then all of a sudden it's Restaurant Week, so they want to try something new. So they come see us. And now maybe we're not stealing that regular guest from another restaurant, but at least we're part of their rotation. So maybe we see them once a month. Maybe we see them once a week. Or we get a guest that comes in that's never been here before and says, well, my husband's going to turn 50, or it's my wife's birthday, and this is a beautiful place. And it becomes a special occasion restaurant for them. So it's just, there's so many opportunities to create new clientele and create more relationships with new guests that, like I said, if you embrace Providence Restaurant Week, you will benefit from it, I guarantee it.
Well, I know it's between lunch and dinner, but I also know that there's televisions at Cersei, and the World Cup is on right now. So I'll let you go back down the block. I appreciate Kyle Poland, you're taking the time to come in and talk about Providence Restaurant Week.
Thank you very much for having me.
We'll let you go around the corner.
Awesome.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our next guest. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us as we talk about Providence Restaurant Week. But as I've mentioned, the big news right now on GoLocal, Governor Raimondo named in a pay-to-play scheme by the SEC. This is back when she was General Treasurer. You can read all about it on GoLocal. But we're going to talk Restaurant Week. It's big here in Providence. But for Pot au Feu and Bob Burke, being a French restaurant this week in particular kind of elevates you to a cachet that not many other places can really claim. You've got Bastille Day and France is in the World Cup final.
Yeah, what a horrible coincidence. It's like having the Super Bowl, World Series, and 4th of July all rolled into one. It's a great week.
So talk with us a little bit about Restaurant Week and what it means every year, and how do you come up with the offerings?
We just throw darts at a board, and no, we you know what we do? We take our favorite, the things that people most want to have, and that's what we're presenting. And we tried something new this year because a lot of people, they kind of, they don't want to come in and maybe, bet the house on pâté if they've never had it. So what we did this year for Restaurant Weeks is really neat. We took our 3 pâtés. We have a truffled mushroom pâté, and we also have a smoked bluefish pâté, and we also have our traditional pâté maison, which we've been serving for 46 years. And now we did them in samplers.
Okay.
So it's a trio. And we did the same thing with the favorite desserts in the house, which is the pâte au chocolat, and then the citron mousse, which is a delicious lemon lime mousse with fresh summer berries on top of it. And then, of course, creme brulee.
So, when you're coming in, you're really getting a taste of everything that the best to offer.
Exactly, exactly. We put on the beef bourguignon, which is always the biggest selling beef dish in the restaurant. The coq au vin is on, and the bouillabaisse. So we just kind of said, let's throw our very best pitches for Restaurant Weeks, give people a chance to really sample. So they're going to come in when they come to Pot au Feu and not just have 1, 2, or 3 foods. They're going to have more like 7 or 8 different tastes of what we've got.
You're really trying it, because one of the things that Restaurant Week does is allows people to try new restaurants. Now, you've got your regulars.
Oh, yeah.
But do you find that Restaurant Week comes around, you see a lot of new faces that said, hey, I've been really wanting to just check out Pot au Feu?
Well, I think one of the fun things about Restaurant Weeks is people feel like time to experiment, okay? Time to go out, time to try things that we're not trying normally, and let's go out and be adventurous. And honestly, we're the only restaurant in Rhode Island that doesn't serve calamari. I mean, we're different. We are different. There's no question about it.
What if I found another restaurant that didn't serve calamari?
Well, then they're probably a French restaurant and they're catching on to the trend. It's the new non-calamari trend. But no, I mean, it's one of those things where, I think people get intimidated a little bit. And a lot of times people, because they look at me and they're like, you look Irish. And I go, yeah, I'm Burke, Roy, Keely, Feely. I know you just came back from the homeland. And, they're like, what's an Irishman doing running a French restaurant? And I said, it takes an Irishman to run a French restaurant in America because the French are too serious. And, people are a little afraid that when they walk in, the French thing is going to be very formal. It's not.
It's very
bistro.
Convivial. The bistro, it's cozy.
Relaxed,
it's
friendly.
Cool in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of got a little beatnik vibe.
The building is 1875, okay? So, brick floor, stone walls, beam ceiling, classic French zinc bar. And we really want it to be fun and friendly and welcoming to people. So they don't even have to worry about that, here comes Jacques, who's going to speak to me in French. That is not going to happen at Pot au Feu.
You're going to get Bob.
Yeah. So, hey, this is friendliness, okay? Come on down. But that, I think, is the thing that's fun, because for whatever reason, Restaurant Weeks make people feel adventurous.
They get out and about.
That's it. They want to experiment. They want to try places they haven't been. And I think that benefits all the restaurants, because we've got the most incredible restaurant community in the nation. And it's right here. Do you know statistically we're the most competitive restaurant city in America?
I believe it.
Only San Francisco has more restaurant seats per capita than Providence, Rhode Island, which is amazing.
Wow. Per capita. Wow.
You know what they've got to support it. They've got the tech industry, tourism, huge. We don't have those things, but at the same time, we still are managing to sustain all of these great restaurants. So, the little startups, the people who have been around a week, we've been around 46 years, there's this wonderful, wonderful community.
It is a great community, and that's why we wanted to welcome in our neighbors down here on Boston Street. You're right around the corner. Bastille Day. Talk with us a little bit about what's...
Bastille Day, 10 days after July 4th, the French have their National Day, their Independence Day. They go nuts. I mean, the Champs-Élysées, fireworks, and they fire fireworks off the Eiffel Tower, and the whole place goes crazy. I mean, even, I hate to even say the word, but, the Trumpster went and was so impressed. You know where he got the idea for that big
military parade was?
Yeah,
wasn't
not from Fifth Avenue, okay, not from the parades in New York. He got the idea from the French parade because French parades are wild. Like it's like that French influence in New Orleans. So the French go crazy on Bastille Day, and we're going to go nuts. So we're closing the street. First of all, it's this Saturday night, July 14th. We're shutting down the street. We're putting out a stage. Rose Weaver, you know Rose Weaver.
Rose Weaver's been here in studio, Rhode Island Gem.
Amazing, and she has got her La Vie en Rose jazz band, and she'll be performing. We've got a 4-course prefix meal with wine, everything all included, $65 a person, $60 if you buy 4 or more tickets. And we're going to parade to the World War II Memorial and do a really nice reflection on, a lot of people don't realize this. Where did the French land when they came to fight in the American Revolution?
Where'd they land?
Where do you think they might have landed?
It's $1 million question.
Rhode Island. Okay, we're the Normandy. When our guys went to fight World War II, they landed in Normandy. When the French soldiers came to fight in the American Revolution, they landed in Newport, came to Providence. So we're really celebrating this wonderful connection that we've got. France is America's oldest friend, oldest ally. They were supporting us before there was even a United States.
So this is, speaking of $1 million questions, are you just going to party right through Saturday night to Sunday morning at 11 a.m.?
Well, the question would be is why should this Saturday night be any different than any other of my Saturday nights?
But it's a big weekend because Sunday morning is the game.
France is about to become the world champignon. It's going to be fantastic. And now that I mentioned, I also want to tell you something really exciting at Pot-au-Fer. Our chef is Rhode Island's only certified wild mushroom expert, which means that if I went out the other day in the woods foraging.
You went mushrooming? Yeah.
Oh my God, black trumpets, all these.
Where'd you go?
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Secret
no,
stash.
They never give their secrets away.
No, because you can't let anyone else be privy.
No truffle secrets. No. So
you were in an undisclosed location.
If another restaurant in Rhode Island wants to serve wild mushrooms, they have to bring them to him to be certified that they're safe.
Does he certify a lot of wild mushrooms?
And he forages a lot of wild mushrooms. His mushroom soup, which we have on the Restaurant Week's menu, oh my God. You've never tasted
That's
anything
the pièce de résistance.
It is unbelievable. It's scary how one woman says to me, I've never had anybody do this at the restaurant before. One woman says to me, bring it in a bucket, I'll dunk.
I just want to bathe.
No, like that's a soup.
I want to bathe in the soup.
That's a soup.
Well, you've got on the Restaurant Week menu, you said tasting for pâtés, tasting for desserts, the French classics, and the big Bastille Day party. Is this going to sell out?
The great news is we've got a big street. So if people want to come,
you'll
sign
get
up soon. But we'll just add more tables.
What time does it start?
We got 2 seatings. So we're going to, at 6 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock, we're going to go down to the memorial and the lighting of water fire. And then all the folks who are going to meet us at the memorial for the 8 o'clock seating are coming back, and they're going to party into the dark, into the night, which is going to be really exciting.
Well, lots going on with Pot-au-Fer. It's not just Providence Restaurant Week, it's Bastille Day, and it's the World Cup final on Sunday morning.
You didn't ask me about my drinks. You asked Kyle about his drinks. You didn't ask me about mine.
Let's talk cocktails. Bob.
Jeez, what? Like you think we're just wine because we're French? We're just.
Kyle's a bartender. You're a restaurateur. I know you know your wine.
We make drinks too.
So let's go cocktails. So if that's exactly, you talk about a sort of a cliche that when you go to a French restaurant, you're thinking you're drinking the Côte de Rhône, which you might. But what else? What are folks looking for when they come in in terms of cocktails?
One of the things to try at the Pot is our 5G, and it started out because it was named the Gigi. Okay?
I've had the 5G.
And it started out, because that's short for gingembre, which is, French for ginger. So it started out as the Gigi. And then we added another G, and then another G. And somebody was like, oh, it's the 4G. And then I went to California and found a 5th G. So now we're up to 5G. So shorthand for it now, instead of trying to go, you can say it maybe on your first one, but on your second, guaranteed you're not going to be able to go, I'll have the Gigi to get all the G's in. So you can just say, I'll have a 5G.
And the 5G is the most popular?
5 gingers.
It's
5
lovely.
gingers. Ginger vodka, ginger liqueur, ginger bitters, ginger ale, and ginger garnish. If you're a ginger lover. Man.
It's a wonderful cocktail.
So refreshing.
What are folks looking for in terms of wine in the summertime?
Wines, people want, this is crazy. Like I had a woman come in last night, I'll have the Cote d'Aron. And I said, what with? She said, the bouillabaisse. What else? And I'm thinking, oh my God, what happened to rosé with bouillabaisse? But people are all over the lot. But definitely in the summertime, the Moscato is a big wine. Clearly the Sauvignon Blanc. And by far, people are loving the rosés. We've got a fizzy rosé champagne, which is really nice. And 2 different, a dry and a sweet rosés by the glass. The Rosé d'Anjou for France. And also the Nicolas rosé, which is drier. So whatever people are kind of feeling with that, we can...
You feel them out. What do you attribute the recent surge of popularity in rosés?
It's pretty.
It's pink.
It really does not have that different a flavor profile from what you're going to get with other white wines, certainly. But it's way prettier than any other white wine. You can put a white wine in a glass and go, that's easy on the eyes. But you put a rosé in a glass and it's pretty. And there's always been a thing with, you look great,
I like that rosé.
I like that rosé. I think it's part of the reason Cosmopolitans were so popular. They were
very pretty.
They were pretty
Very
color.
pretty, yep.
And I think the rosé just has that kind of relaxed summer look to it. It's got a little sunburn.
It's got a little
wine
sunburn.
With a sunburn.
Well, Restaurant Week's going on right now. You can go to Pot au Feu for dinner. You can go to the Bastille Day celebration. They're closing off the street on Saturday night. It sounds like it's going to be a big party. Bob Burke, I appreciate your coming in. Be thinking of you when we watch the World Cup final on Sunday.
Merci and vive la France! Go France in the World Cup.
Bob Burke, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for the 3 o'clock show as we featured Providence Restaurant Week with some of our neighbors here in downtown Providence. Would like to thank Kyle Poland with Circe and Bob Burke with Pot au Feu. Now Pot au Feu has a lot going on this week. Big Bastille Day party on Saturday. Tickets available as they close off the street. Big news right now on GoLocalProv.com. Governor Gina Raimondo named in an SEC pay-to-play scheme. You can read all about that from when she had been General Treasurer. 4 o'clock, we are going to talk to some more news and politics and local authors. We'll have Layla Howland here, Rhode Island native, on her new book, Hello Sunshine. Spencer Sullivan, Rhode Island native, DC GOP strategist. We're going to talk a little bit with him about the Supreme Court nomination and what things look like in the power structure in Congress as we're looking towards November elections. We'll also have Steve Brown with the Rhode Island ACLU, a lawsuit today filed on behalf of a female employee at Newport Grand alleging sex discrimination. So we'll see you here at 4 o'clock. If you missed it, be sure to check out Chuck Staten. It was in here with the band Senior Discount. They're coming out with their new album on Friday. They'll be playing here live in Providence, just outside watered down by the Hot Club, by the Whiskey Republic. They're closing off that area as well. So it seems to be a theme, closing off areas for a lot of fun. But we look forward to seeing you here at 4 to talk news and politics. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel.